Hello everyone. Today I would like to talk on a topic, growth in a secret place. Secret place is a place of prayer. I would like to give my simple definition of a prayer. Prayer is talking to God with an open heart. Prayer builds up our spiritual life that connects us to the plans and purposes of God. It is through prayer and spending time with God changes our life. Prayer does not change God, but it changes our life that builds up our spiritual life. So prayer is a communication or the conversation that we have with God. From the creation itself, we can understand that God's original plan for mankind was to have fellowship with Him. That's why He created Adam and Eve and blessed them in the Garden of Eden so that they will have fellowship with Him. It was all good in the beginning with a constant fellowship. But one day when Adam and Eve sinned, their eyes were opened, and when they realized that they were naked, they hid away from the presence of God. That was the first mention of Adam and Eve hiding away from the presence of God. Because before that, they were in constant fellowship with God. But when they sinned, they lost their connection with God. When it says they hide away from the presence of God, we can understand that God regularly came to the garden to have fellowship with Adam and Eve. But that day, when they sinned, they hide away from His presence. So when God came to the garden that day, He could not find them. It was not God who hid away, but it was mankind who hid away from the presence of God. So God called to us Adam and asked him, "Where are you?" I believe that could be the same question that God is asking us today. Where are you? Are we in His presence daily, or are we hiding away from His presence because we are so involved and busy in our worldly activities? So let's ask ourselves, where are we today? Let me take an example of Jesus. I believe that He was the most busiest man when He was on earth. We cannot compare our busy life with the busy life of Jesus. He was so busy, yet He took out His time to be alone with God in prayer. Sometimes the whole night He prayed the whole night. Sometimes even at daytime after preaching to the crowd, He will slip away from the crowd in order to pray, in order to spend time with God the Father. In Luke 5:16 it says, "But Jesus often withdrew to the lonely places and prayed." Even in the midst of His busy ministry, He had to take out His time to be alone with Father in that secret place of prayer. Why? Because He needed to recharge Himself. So I believe no one is as busy as Jesus was. Those 3.5 years of Jesus' ministry, the disciples were always with Him. They have witnessed how Jesus was teaching boldly, healing the sick, doing miracles. They have witnessed His life Himself, the passion that Jesus had for His Father's work. I believe all this came out of His prayer life. After following Jesus for all those years, disciples must have understood that the source of His successful ministry, the life-fulfilling ministry, was a prayer. The source was a prayer. That's why they did not ask Jesus to teach them how to preach or how to do miracles, but instead they asked Him how to pray. In Luke 11:1 it says, "One day Jesus was praying in a certain place. When He finished, one of His disciples said to Him, 'Lord, teach us how to pray. Lord, teach us how to pray.'" They did not ask Jesus for the fruit, but they asked Him for the seed, because we cannot have fruit if we don't have seed. They saw Jesus bearing much fruit for God because of the seed that He had planted in His life. Seed is the prayer life. And if you want to bear fruit for God, we have to plant that seed. Jesus planted that seed of prayer, and that's why He bore much fruit for God. Today, if we choose to plant that seed of prayer in our life, we will bear much fruit for God. God bless us all.